we'll just see how the committee shapes up. So by the end of August, we'll have to make that call, I'd suggest. It's not high, it's not a core thing, but it's something that will need to be done somewhere between start up and when we really know what we're doing and what we've got a sense back from the committees at the end of August, subcommittees as to where we're going.
Okay. All right, thank you. Share. Stop share. Just go heading back to the other one.
You should have some background music going, you know, or maybe someone could sing. Now, finance and governance, Brian, any updates, or are we're still sitting with the budget as shared to date? Is any changes to share? Or?
Yeah, there's no other updates other than I see in something that Philip sent through that we were having a breakfast again on Sunday morning, which I had initially taken out. So is there any update on that? It says foundation breakfast.
Well, my sense is that can I look, apart from being an attendee at parts of past conferences, is the foundation breakfast generally regarded as a self-funded?
That was the point I was going to make.
Yes.
Yeah, the answer to your question, David, is yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, good, because that means it's really in and out. We've got to make sure we secure the income and we cover the expense, but so it shouldn't affect the bottom line. Yep. Okay. And look, disappointing if we didn't have it.
Yep.
So no other changes, Brian, at this stage?
No, I'm still waiting for information, you know, on all the the details of what we're doing.
Yeah, understood. Look, we've got the framework in place. Now, Philip, you said had advised you that there would be a foundation breakfast. I just want to capture this. So is it within his court to come back with further details, or does that land with somebody else when the music stops? Gary, your thoughts?
My thoughts is that we should delegate it to one of the chairs of the district foundation committees to coordinate with their fellow chairs in order to put it together. We should make sure that it occurs, and we should delegate it to someone like Murray Verso from District 9800, but it doesn't have to be, and I'm certainly, for Mark's benefit, not insisting it be him, but he might be the best person to delegate it to, and let him deal with his fellow chairs and present a report to us.
No, I'd be happy with Murray.
Cool.
Yep.
Or maybe Mark, just for balance, if you could have a quick tic tac with Elmer and Philip.
Yep.
I know Murray, known him for a long time. Great person in his profession and business and community. But it may be that between yourself, Philip, and Elmer, there might be another option. So if you could take that away and bring it back with a recommendation.
Yep, no problem.
Thanks, mate. Okay. Anything else from? Nothing else. Anything from you, Brian, or are you done and dusted?
I'm done and dusted. Thank you.
Okay. Nothing on anything on governance at this stage, Gary, or is it just on hold?
Well, it's not on hold. It's an ongoing thing that as things arise, we deal with them. There's nothing on the plate at the moment of particular note that I think needs to be dealt with, but I'm of course available at any time.
Thank you. From a venue point of view, we don't have anything further. We expect to be, Philip and I will be talking with James Gillum from Showgrounds to pick up the process of and engage Gary with shaping the agreement such that it reflects our principles that we've put out in the document. And so what I'd suggest we'll be doing that, recommencing discussions to finalise things this month. We have the date inked in. No one else can pinch our date. We just it's now about time we started moving to shape up the agreement, and they are certainly as aware as we are of the issues surrounding events, dates, and all these sorts of things. And look, I can say it was interesting when we reflect on looking forward, the dates that, we'd put a date of February the 1st on our call regarding, migration from face-to-face to online, or should that be needed. I was talking with the management team from Federation Square today, and they're also looking at that date as their sort of pivot date on a lot of their decisions. So hopefully we'll all have some better news in the coming months. But it's I think that's a good time for us to be making a call and to be deferring our expenses or commitments till that time as best we can, noting that there are upfront costs for things like design and those sorts of things. And so at this stage, I can't see the agenda, and I gather we're going to move into subcommittees. Just a brief snapshot from each of the leaders on where they're at and whether they believe they'll be able to reach the 31/8 deadline for feeding budget, income and expense numbers into Brian. Well, we start with a Philip A, and I think we'll put Philip back to number 8 and maybe move across Pia to yourself.
No worries. I suppose from our side of things, it's feedback, and the notes said we were going to get some feedback from Alma and Mark about the designs, but you would have seen them come through on Sandy's email and also email from myself today. I don't know if it was clear, the comments that I made, that we were liking version 5.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay. Do you want me to share that now, Pia?
Yeah, I think it was shared with everyone too, but yeah. That's great. And the reason for thinking that 5th one was due to it being still in the Rotary colours, but so many different elements.
Sorry.
If you want, you can scroll through them all, Sandy, so that people can have a look.
All right, okay.
They
go back to the top.
Yeah, they all say the same thing. So take an idea of concept 1. Concept 2 is a bit more elaborate. Concept 3 is wheel-based. Yeah. Concept 4 is the circles. And concept 5 is, we'll call it the triangles for want of a better term. Can I get any feedback from people? Also, the thought with number 5 is that it's got space, it allows space for images of Rotarians in it as well, in the circle graphics.
I like 5.
Yes, for what it's worth, I think 5 is very good.
Yeah.
Stuart, do you like 5?
Yes.
I feel like it'd work well on a website, but I feel like your input's really important on that one.
Of course. I mean, it just stands out and excites, and I think that's what we need more than anything else.
Yeah, and I feel like the elements can be moved around to be.
I mean, when it comes to the website, I mean, it raises the questions of whether we can adopt that theme throughout the website as well.
Well, I think you can pick up elements from that. And it's translatable, is my reading.
Yeah.
And also, look, there's a subliminal thing, and maybe I'm just being a bit of an old fogue, but semaphore signalling, there's, completing spaces, finishing the job. There's a whole lot of subliminal stuff in that, which to me is, quite strong, and it's very clean. It picks up, the basic, the messaging or the visual from earlier ones, and I just think it looks great. Anyway, it's all up to the team. It's really up to the DGs, but if we're favouring that, that could be shared with them.
Just do it. There you go. Do it.
Can I say I would like to see the fact that it's the particular Rotary districts featured somewhere. It doesn't say that this is the conference of the 3 districts.
That's an important consideration.
So it makes it look like it's Rotary in Australia's conference, not the district conference of the 3 districts.
Yep.
Yeah, good call.
And I also
And by the way,
see
look,
the 100 years
Quinn,
the symbol of 100 years of Rotary there somewhere.
It is
that's on
on the
there.
bottom. Yep.
That's on-
Well, it is on one, but not on the other.
Oh, not on the bag.
Yeah, so
So Paul Phillips moved, but not only is he being reduced back to a president, he's now of a different club. But put that to one side. It'd be very nice to have the Rotary badge and the 100 years at the bottom of the name tag, as well as the larger one, in my view.
yeah, so those elements were just example elements to show how the design could go. Obviously, a name tag, you usually have a backside to that as well. With the Rotary 100 Years logo, we sort of asked for that to be more of an anchoring message rather than the conference message, which there was another document that went around as well about different taglines. The different concepts, I don't know, Sandy, if you want to bring up that other document. Concepts saying 100 years strong, 100 years young, Rotary generations, 100 years, 100% Rotary, or Rotary onward. There's a few different taglines there. We had 100 years of Rotary mateship. We had Rotary.
Pierre, am I confused? Is this a document for the celebration of 100 years of Rotary, or for the district conference?
For the district conference.
So where does it actually say it's for the district conference?
So we had a first lot of designs come through, and this is what these designs have been passed on previously to this evening to the DGs as well, because the first round of designs that we got back had information like that, and it with a tagline saying that it was mateship, and for a various number of reasons, although it sounds good, there's a number of reasons why that idea was rejected, for a masculine feel, for various other things. And this version came back. We didn't want to go back and do too many rounds of edits, but certainly the fact that it's multi-district will be a message that's higher than 100 years.
Can I just be clear? I love the graphics.
Yep.
It's the verbiage that I'm questioning.
Yep.
And the reason I'm questioning it, it's like looking at an ad on TV where you're trying to work out what product they're trying to advertise.
Yeah, no, I have.
And so that's the graphics I like of version 5, but the verbiage I think we need to have further discussion about.
Yes, certainly. The multi-district conference messaging is one of the key elements that we put forward. Because there was a lot of focus early on for giving this conference a name, that name got swapped out for this concept. So 100 years strong, or 100 years, 100% Rotary, or whatever it might be. Whereas certainly we recognise that in the past years, the multi-district conference or district conference is the key thing. Certainly if you're going on the website, it'll be the multi-district conference page. So it'll be very obvious that that's what it is. So we'll be making sure that that message is primary. But keeping that in mind, for external parties, the fact that it's a multi-district, sorry, Siri's talking to me, for multi-district, for external parties, having it be the multi-district conference is irrelevant if you're trying to sell it to people that aren't Rotarians.
Okay, look, I think that's a good clarification. Thanks, Gary, for bringing up those points. As you know, there's obviously going to be many different applications. I'm sure Pia will and the team will add in the referencing, you know, as required. I've gone invisible because I haven't got as much red wine as Ian Goldsmith, and it's a bit sad. But secondly, or as Mark, but we've got lousy internet down here, so I didn't want to stall things. But let's put all of those things together and also put our hands together for Quinn. Good to see you tonight.
Mark's got his hand up.
Sorry. Just one other thing too. Can I make a suggestion that perhaps the green flashes that we've got in there, change those to the cranberry? The only reason why I'm saying that is at the moment it doesn't look like Rotaract is represented in it.
Good one.
All good. Thank you, Pia. That's great to see that progressing. We're pretty close. Now, without looking at my invisible agenda, committee number 2, Sandy.
Yeah, so we're going next to IT.
Okay, so look, IT hasn't progressed as yet. We will. I'll organise a meeting this week to get things moving on there. Short and sweet.
Thanks, Mark. Good.
Then Marketplace, yourself, David.
Whoa.
It's you.
I can't duck and weave on this one. I'd better be visible so I can, when the tomatoes hit, I can be visible. Look, first committee meeting Wednesday night. We've got Charlie Spears from 9820. We have Leslie Zaccaro from 9810. We have Fabian Nicola from 9800 and Michael Horridge from Rotaract. We've got a session together. They've done a lot of pre-reading. We've got a session Wednesday night to sort of knit together the strategy. We've got a pretty strong base for it. And having Charlie in Gippsland will be really helpful. And background of the team will work well. So we'll have our plan and budget well and truly in place before the end of August. That's it. Not as short as Mark's, but sweeter.
Leading by example, well done. The next one is the formal conference and speaker program. Obviously, Elma isn't here.
We've got a meeting on Wednesday night.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Linda, Elma noted in her email that he was waiting or believed that, and this is a question we've got to knit through quickly, to the extent to which this committee gives direction to the subcommittee on the specifics of the timing of the role of the day. We've provided in our document, the day, night. We've sort of split the conference into, components. My sense is, and I'd like to get the feeling of the group, is that we should leave that to that committee to break down their timings and their speakers. And can people please provide some thoughts on that? We've given, 4 or 5 blocks. Is there anything more we need to do, or do we pass it to the subcommittee and say, you do it?
You could, when you approach them, you need to tell them what we're looking for and give them a cut-off date for their presentation. for the AV company to tweak it and what have you.
Oh, thanks, Lynn. What we've given them is we've given them the themes.
And
Yeah.
what format
And-
it needs to be in, their presentation.
I suppose I'm going back one step from that to say, well, you know, we've given a broad timeline without saying what we want to do, length of talks. We've said Saturday mornings could be plenary and breakout, etc. Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning. My sense is we don't need to go any further on that. But since we now have 67% of the DGs here, we might ask Philip.
We'll just throw him in as soon as he gets there.
Philip Archer, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm running late. Hi, Steve, Gary, Pierre, Lynn, Quinn, David, Sandy, Stuart. Who else is on there?
Linda.
Ian Goldsmith, Brian McPhail. Hello, Mark. Pat Armstrong.
Patricia.
And yeah, is that all?
Linda.
And Linda. Hello, Linda Morris.
Hi.
What was the question,
I
David?
think what Linda should do, Linda, is this your scarf? Is that a sort of a convertible face mask, or is that purely a scarf?
No, it's purely a scarf. I've just got a wind sheeter on, so I thought I'd better jazz it up a bit.
Well done. Well done.
It'd be very good to have a mask the same, with black ties. Philip, quick one for you. We have at this stage if you like, we've got the blocks in place for our sessions in Saturday, Sunday. The question Elmer raised was, well, what it was almost coming to the committee saying, well, we need to know how much more information we want to provide them. Do we want to tighten? We've said Saturday morning, plenary, breakout, lunch, Saturday afternoon, plenary, breakout, and Sunday, breakout, plenary. To what extent do we need to do more than that? And we've provided the themes. We've got 4 suggested speakers, key speakers. What more do you believe this committee needs to do to feed or inform the program committee?
Let's be very clear about this. District Governor Mark, District Governor Almer, and I have agreed that we have 4 main objectives out of this. And one is for the conference to really celebrate our 100 program. So celebrate the past, create the future. Second, ethical leadership. Third, Indigenous health. And 4th, youth development. And the key thing behind all of that is after the drought, the bushfires, COVID-19, and the decline in business, if we can do a face-to-face meeting, we want to bring the community groups that we work with across the 5 districts. We want to bring our membership. We want to bring the business operators, particularly the small business operators who've been doing it tough, together to have a celebration of everything worthwhile in the community. So imagine, and we've said this, all 3 of us have said this, imagine having a drought for 7 years and the first rains come and you see the farmers and their families and the kids jumping around in paddocks full of water and rain. That's what we want to see happen. Now, at the end of the day, we've got so much to celebrate, including our environment and sustainability platform. And Pat's here, and I'm grateful for Pat being on the team, because that will be a 7th area of focus for the Rotary Foundation. We want to promote that in our marketplace and bring all of those first responders, the providors, the winemakers, the community groups, the Rotary clubs, all into the marketplace to celebrate what they do, showcase it, sell it, for people to either buy into or volunteer towards. So that's as simple as it should be. Don't over-engineer it, because over the next 6 to 8 weeks in our new COVID-19 phase 4, we're not going to be able to do too much. But when we come out of it, we're going to make a decision on the 1st of February as to whether it is online or whether it's face-to-face. And I think we can do just as well online in a virtual sense, using our gamification platforms and IT platforms. And Mark and I discussed that yesterday. Alma and I have discussed it last week. We can make it the best, celebration of humanity and volunteering, even online, if we can't, have a face-to-face meeting. So I'm very convinced that this little team can just do enough work to get those subcommittees working, to have a strong agenda, and we work this up between now and Christmas, and then make some decisions on the 1st of February. David, that's enough from me.
Philip, now Pia.
I just wanted to comment that we, as part of the Rotary alumni of the Peace Fellowship, they worked with Rotary's partnership with Mediators Beyond Borders, who facilitated an online facilitators training session, and it was just about how to break down people, introduce people in breakouts really quickly, how to consider cultural differences and all that sort of thing. And it was a really great session. So I'm sure that Rotary Mediators Borders partnership is there, that we could potentially offer that to our speakers or any other facilitators prior to the conference as well.
Absolutely.
Look, that's
Mark, Alma and I, we were in San Diego, and the institute that RI ran for all the DGs around the globe had an app that we used to communicate with each other and share ideas and photos and inspirational aspects that we'd learnt that session. It was amazing, and we've now got that here to utilize for our conference. So we can do that. We can bring in another app that we've seen called Menti. We can bring in the other couple of apps that we've spoken about and make it really fun to be, whether it's a viral conference or even a face-to-face conference, those apps make it more interesting. So stay tuned for more. And Quinn and I had a meeting with the City of Melbourne the other day, and they used some gamification in a program that I got involved with for African youth to get employment. And that was really inspiring to see. So that's where we're heading to in Rotary.
Thanks, Philip. Just also to pick up on, I think, the point that Pia was referring to, which was the training of the coaching of speakers. If I'm hearing you right, Pia, was the coaching of speakers to work in an online environment. And I think if you've got those extra contacts, if you could feed those across to Alma and to Sandy, that would be helpful. Thank you again. Linda, hand up.
Wouldn't you look at completely different speakers if you were doing it online than in person? Because online you can get speakers from anywhere in the world. Or do you want to strictly to Australia or Victoria?
The reality is we're looking at speakers that are global thinkers and globally recognized. So the 4 or 5 that have been lined up are amazing, whether they're online or face-to-face. So yes, we will fine-tune it depending on the dates, but the first 5 speakers or 4 speakers that we've booked in are people who are quite capable of doing it in any forum.
Okay.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Philip. Next, Sandy.
All right.
Hello, Sandy Fulcher.
Hello, Philip. Sorry. So the music festival.
Do we have a leader for that yet, or are we? Sandy?
No. Philip, is that
Mark, Philip?
we're still waiting for
No, Beverly Pinder said she will pick that up. So I've agreed that she should do that with the team. So Beverly will pick that up. Quinn, you're
Great.
surprised.
I'm sorry?
Quinn, you're delightfully surprised with that pick of Beverly Pinder, right?
I think it's a wonderful opportunity to bring her in into the domain, if you like.
So Beverly Pinder will do that.
Right. Thank you, Philip. Sandy?
Government liaison. Quinn, you're up.
Oh, I actually get a gig. This is interesting. Well, I suppose we need a couple of confirmations in relation to other people on the committee. I don't know. I haven't had the opportunity to communicate to see. Phil, do we have Peter Rogers on that list?
No, what you're very new to this, Quinn. We only sent it to you, I think, on Friday. So
Yep.
you and I need to have a conversation about it. I tried calling you yesterday, and you rang me this morning about the other project that we're working on. So if we can connect up this week, that'll be fine. There's plenty of time.
Okay, so then we'll just lock in the committee.
Yep. But
All
I
right,
thought
so
I thought Peter Rogers would be great to have on that list.
Sure, and we've got till the end of what seems a lifetime these days, end of August, to get this thing together.
Well, that was prior to phase 4. We might need to look at that in reality.
Here. You know, if you can get me out of the cellar where I'm going to drink myself silly, you know, you'll do very well, Phil. I mean, it's not good news what we're hearing today, but we've got to lift our head and keep on going.
Quinn, we can have the meeting in your cellar or my cellar. It doesn't matter. We'll just drink
happy to do so.
Right.
All right. Back to you, David.
Oh, I'm glad I come back to the seat. Just had to check the fire. Thank you, Quinn. Sorry I missed your soliloquy. Now who's next on the hit list, Sandy?
Yeah, so it's gamification, but Samantha I don't think is here.
No, Samantha's just had her first child about 4 weeks ago, so she is joining and she's accepted the role, but she will come in. So.
Great news. Thank you, Philip.
David, can I suggest we just will say hello in a sense to Patricia?
Yes.
Just in case she's got anything she would sort of wanted to contribute.
That would be good if you would have. Yes, Patricia, the floor is yours.
Yeah, that was unexpected. But anyway, thank you for the invitation. This is a big opportunity for this district to become, well, multi-districts, I suppose, to become a real leader in this field of running the conference as a green event. For those of you who don't know, I'm in District 9810, but I'm also the Director of the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. And one of the things that we're doing at that level is to develop guidelines for clubs and districts to run green events. So that set of documents should be available by the end of the year. And we have a whole team of people who'd be quite willing, I think, to help this committee to design a green event. All right, so
well,
tell me what you have in mind.
Well, we're sort of seeking guidance, starting from a point of, you know, the group that's come together. We're on our second event plan after COVID, arrived and caused everyone a lot of grief. And I think other events that I have run in regional Victoria, we've had a very strong green focus, and we've had a leader who would work across the group. And it's just great to have someone to come in at an early stage to say, well, here are the principles we should be taking account of. And certainly very keen to see from this stage, what are the steps we need to make from, if today's day 0 or day 1, to achieve a status where we can say, hand on heart, this is a green event and this is a quality event.
Well, there's a whole, thanks for that, David. And there'll be a whole heap of people who are quite keen to help out here. District 9800, District 9810, and I think one of the others already has a district environmental committee, and they'll be right behind this. We also have a group of ESRAG members in this country, right across Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Islands, who we now call ANSPI, who would also be pretty keen to see this as an example of how to run a green event. So I reckon we could pull together a workable committee to advise your committee about where we should go next. But we already have done a whole heap of work. Ludovic Grosjean, who you would be familiar with, is working away over the next 2 months to finalise these guidelines for green events. So within 2 months, we'll have professionally prepared guidelines and checklists. So
Pat, Vic, as he's now known, Grosjean, because he's now an Australian.
Well, I like to call him Ludovic because that was his birth name.
So he sort of said to me, Philip, please call me Vic from now on because I'm an Aussie now. So just letting you know.
Well, he's quite happy for me to call him Ludovic. There we go.
Okay. So I'm just very happy to tell you that he's one of our guest speakers that are confirmed. And what we should do, David, is send Pat Armstrong our vision statements and our sponsorship documents and the materials we've prepared so far for her and her team to advise us.
If I could just put to all of you, is that there have been many events that have been run where they've done some of the things about making the event green, but we really haven't had someone that has said, look, we really want this to be the best green event that we can. And I would be advising this team is that we carefully keep records of how we've gone about it so that we can then use this as a case study for other districts and other multi-districts. That would be my suggestion. We do this really well and we record and we budget for even having somebody record, if we do go face-to-face, that we have somebody recording, taking photographs, videos of our green features of the event so that we can then produce a document or a video about how this was a green event.
I think that's a really, really good thing. And look, I know from my experience in events that making it real to the other participants, the people, the contractors, and all those various levels of people engaged, and recognising you're going to get pushback. You've got to say, find a solution. There's got to be a way that people can achieve a change in their method to meet the standards we want to set. Really important. And look, they're doable. It just means some people have got to think a bit harder about their delivery, even if and if in the end it changes their delivery in future occasions to others, we've made another level of change. So I think it's very welcoming to have you on board.
David, we don't have to go aim for perfection, but we're going to do the very, very best that we can. And what we know is that Rotarians around the world are pretty keen to have this happen at all their events. We ran a breakout session for the virtual RICON, and this was one of the breakout sessions, and we had 1,700 people attend that breakout session. 1,700. And this gives you some idea of the expectation of Rotarians around the world that we should be modelling good behaviour.
Pat, I had your colleagues from 9800 ring me this morning about the conference in Fabian and John McCaskill. So they're very delighted that you're on the committee.
Good.
Thank you, Philip.
Can I ask a question?
Thank you, Patricia. Yes, you can ask a question, Gary. You're welcome.
Patricia, could you help me out? What makes an event a green event? What do we have to do to make it a green event?
How about I come back with a plan for you?
Thank you.
We can come back with a checklist. I don't want to do it now. We can come back to you with a checklist of what would make it a green event and to what extent you have, green, mildly green, very green. So it's probably a continuum.
Thank you.
One of the things that I would be suggesting that we could try out is to have this as a zero carbon event. And there are people in the UK and in Africa who have identified the carbon contribution of a conference and then had steps to offset the carbon. So there are all kinds of ways that we can do it. The committee might not accept all these ideas, but these are some of the suggestions that we will put to you.
Well,
That would be very helpful.
Many thanks, Patricia. Sandy, what have we got next on our agenda?
The next is Rotaract update. I'm guessing we may skip that because there's nobody here from Rotaract. So then we're on to other business.
Any other business to raise, ladies and gentlemen? Profound silence ensues.
Lynn's got her hand
I have
waving.
my hand up.
Oh, sorry, Lynn.
If by chance we don't get the 120,000 sponsorship, do we have like a cut-off date where, because that's going to affect the registration hugely?
Lynn, we've got 90,000 already in, so the
Oh
next
my God.
30,000. Yes.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'll withdraw the question then. Excellent. Well done.
Look, it's always a good question to raise, but Philip's done a pile of work in that space, and others have fed in and supported him on that, and it's firing where we are at the moment. Right. So, good question, and thanks, Philip.
And a fantastic answer.
Yeah, it's a bit of a knockout, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always around this time that we start to lose David. Oh, bless him, he's frozen.
All right.
I could just say our next thing is about date of the next meeting as to when we want to come together next.
Mark, can you answer that, Mark? Next meeting?
Date of next meeting. Should we do the last Monday in August? Would that be reasonable?
Do we want to do it the last, or do we want to do it? Oh yeah, that's the Monday. So yeah, make it the 31st, because by then we should have all of the answers for Brian by then as well.
And I think that was a key date of certain things having to be done by. So
yes, correct. Yep.
We'll just make sure we've got a detailed action plan in the minutes. To
bring it all together.
Everybody.
Yep.
And the aim will be to have everybody have their committees obviously fully filled before then. And if anybody's needing anybody, the committees, I guess, sing out.
Yeah.
Sing out, let us know. Yeah. So, okay, so Monday the 31st of August. David, can you hear us?
Quinn, I will talk to you tomorrow about next steps. And Brian, I will call you on Wednesday morning if you're fine with that, to just give you an update on the sponsorships.
Okay, all good.
All right, David, last chance.
No, I think you can declare the meeting closed, and we should.
The neighbours have
we
zapped
should
the.
hope everyone stays safe.
Yeah, stay away from anybody with COVID, everybody.
Here.
All right.
Good, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye all.